Hello and welcome back. This video we review coordinates, lines, distance, circles and parabolas in the plane, and we will discuss the notion of increment also. To begin, we draw two perpendicular coordinate lines that intersect at the 0 point of each line. Okay, so let's begin with two perpendicular lines. This vertical line and this horizontal line. And the horizontal line will be called the x-axis of the coordinate system, and the y-axis will be the horizontal, the vertical line. And on the horizontal x-axis, numbers are denoted by x and increase to the right, so they increase to the right direction, the values of the x-axis. And on the vertical y-axis, numbers are denoted by y and increase upwards, so they increase to this direction. And thus upward and to the right are positive directions, whereas downward and to the left are considered as negative. So these are the negative directions of the coordinate system. And there is a special point here called the origin, and we use a notation O. So this is the origin, and we use O for it, or just 0. And let's pick a P point on the plane. Okay, so this is a P point on the plane, and it can be located by exactly one ordered pair of real numbers by the following way. The ordered pair AB, okay, so we call this AB, and this is the ordered pair for P, and this is called the P coordinate pair. The first number A is the x coordinate or abscissa of P. Okay, so the x coordinate is the abscissa, and B will be the y coordinate, and we call it the ordinate. Y coordinate is the ordinate. Okay, so you can see here is A and here is B. We sometimes also refer to the point AB, but that means just P. Okay, so this coordinate system is called the rectangular coordinate system or the Cartesian coordinate system. You can use it whatever you like. So the Cartesian coordinate system or the rectangular coordinate system. The graph of an equation or inequality in the variables x and y is a set of all points p, the set of all points p, x, y in the plane whose coordinates satisfy the equation or inequality. So that's how we graph points on the plane. Okay, so let's talk about increments and straight lines. When a particle moves from one point to another, the net changes in its coordinates are called increments. Okay, so they are called increments. They are calculated by subtracting the coordinates of the starting point from the coordinates of the ending point. If x changes from x1 to x2, the increment in x is the delta x. So we use the changement of the x as delta x as x2 minus x1. So it started from x1, the starting point started from here, and x2 where we finished here. Okay, so this is the end minus the start, and that is the increment of x. Okay, for example, in going from the point A, so we got an A point as 4 minus 3, and we got a B point as 2, 5. And the example is, in going from the point A, 4 minus 3, to the point B, 2, 5, the increments in the x and y coordinates are, and what are the increments of the x and the y coordinates? So we know that delta x equals the end minus the start, and we started from A, so we subtract 2 I mean, we subtract 4 from 2 because we started at 4 and we ended up at 2. So the increment of x is minus 2. And the increment in y will be 5 minus 3. That's 8. Why? Because we finished at 5 and we started from minus 3. So these are the increments of the x and the y coordinates. Okay, so let's try it generally. So there are given 2 points, P1 as x1 and y1, and P2 with the pair coordinates of x2 and y2. And we want to go from P1 to P2, and we are really interested in the increment. So we know that delta x is x2 minus x1, and the delta y equals y2 minus y1. Let's just visualize what we got here. So we got a P1 point in the plane and a P2. I just randomly placed them, and we know that the coordinates of the P2 point is x2, y2, and the P1 point's coordinates are just x1 and y1. And simply just connect them. That we will call the P1, P2 line. And as you can see here, the increment is delta y here, and this is delta x. So two such points always determine a unique straight line, usually called simply just a line, passing through them both, and we call this P1, P2. And here comes the definition. Okay, I just make myself more space to define the slope. Okay, so this is the definition of the slope, and the constant m equals delta y over delta x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is a constant, and we will call this the rise over the run, because the delta y is the rise and delta x is the run. And this is the slope of the P1, P2 line here, and there's a definition. So this is the definition of the slope. And the slope tells us the direction, uphill or downhill. A line with positive slope rises uphill to the right, so this got a positive slope, and one with negative slope falls downhill to the right, so just make you a line with negative slope like this. So this is with a negative slope. And the greater the absolute value of the slope is, the more rapid the rise or fall. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. Since the run delta x is 0 for a vertical line, we cannot evaluate the slope ratio m, because we cannot divide by 0. Okay, so this was the first part of the video series. I hope you enjoyed, and I see you next time.